You have argued for, let's say, the other factors corresponding to happiness, but I believe that there's a close relationship between happiness and IQ. So, what is the most important argument to prove it to me that happiness is not necessarily dependent on a high level of IQ?
Actually, I think highly intelligent people are very sensitive and tend to be socially withdrawn. And because of this issue, I completely disagree with you. And actually, you're saying that a high level of IQ is essential for happiness. And I don't agree with this statement because of many reasons. How can you prove it to me that IQ is absolutely essential for happiness? It could be, sorry that I interrupt you. It could be actually a good point for happiness, but I mean, this is not essential for happiness. Yeah.
Well, I believe that it is absolutely essential. I do abide by the topic or title because, if you happen to be intelligent, or if your emotional or intelligence quotient or IQ is high enough, you will be able to have problem solving, because there is a close link between problem solving, information processing, and IQ. Those who are intelligent, they can just deal with problematic cases or issues and they can just solve them easily. But if a person is not intelligent enough, actually they have to be dependent upon others. They cannot deal with the problems logically or rationally. This is number one argument.
Right. However, I think emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. Actually, I mean, EQ is more important than IQ, and based on some research, based on brain and behavior research, people who have a higher EQ were shown to be those who truly succeeded in their work and personal lives. How about it?
Well, emotional intelligence proposed by Professor Daniel Goleman, absolutely, it is important for happiness and gratification and success. But our argument does not negate the, let's say, the existence of EQ. It just wants to say that IQ is absolutely essential. It doesn't mean that actually EQ is not essential. And I believe that actually a person can have a high level of IQ and also be blessed with EQ as well.
Okay. But however, I mean, it could be related to each other because IQ or intelligence quotient, I think, is related to emotional intelligence, because as humans we are highly emotional beings. Actually, people who have a high degree of emotional intelligence are able to better manage feelings like anger, happiness, insecurity, or fear. What do you think?
Yes, emotional intelligence has basically 5 elements, such as self-awareness, motivation, self-motivation, people skills, and also empathy and impulse control. These are the basic building blocks of emotional intelligence. But as I said, a person who has a high level of IQ may have a high level of EQ too. So, but the point is that if you are able to manage your moods or emotions, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have enough logic, because emotionality is different from logicality. A person may be too emotional, and actually if a person is too emotional, they may get carried away. For example, there is a very terrible situation and he or she cannot deal with that, because actually they just tend or deal with that situation emotionally, not logically. But if there is no logic that is related to IQ, not EQ, actually they cannot overcome the problem. They are overwhelmed by the problem.
Okay, do you think that actually someone who has a high level of IQ can solve any problems or difficult problems? Do you think that someone with this situation, with this level of IQ, can be happiness because that's he or she just can solve the problems? Is it a necessary or essential issue for happiness?
Well, as a matter of fact, I believe that solving the problem is better than just being influenced by the problem, as generally it is the case for emotional people who get too emotional about it. They do not take any action because they don't know how to. Because actually, if you are not intelligent enough, particularly with that stiff competition these days, in each case, in each area, there is a stiff competition, a rat race competition. If you are not intelligent enough, if you are not resourceful enough, if you do not know how to deal with that through problem-solving activities and information processing, you cannot just deal with that. That is so clear to me.
Okay, I think happiness is not related to logic. Happiness, actually, in my opinion, happiness is more related to emotion. And you know, emotion, if you separate E from motion, you actually will realize that E means that energy plus motion. Did you know that's emotion?
Well, as a matter of fact, as far as I know, emote or emotion means motion toward outside, and that E stands for outside, not energy.
Actually, I just, based on some research that I had on internet, I realized that. However, I think that happiness is not related to logic, and we should consider it for our emotional. What about it?
Well, I think that we are, animals have emotion too. And there are three parts in our brains. One is reptilian, that is shared among reptiles such as snakes, and that part of the brain is in charge of, for example, breathing, respiration, heartbeat, which we are not aware of. And the other one actually is emotional brain, inside of in the middle of the brain, including amygdala and hippocampus, about memory and identity. And even that part is shared among mammals. For example, monkeys do have that part. Okay. And there is another part that is so unique to humans, and that is actually neocortex. And neocortex is the gray material. And the last part, that is the most developed part of the brain, that is neocortex.
Right. Actually, I think this subject is like a coin. And there are both positive and negative sides of that. However, based on my studies and based on my research, studies show that as much as 80% of the actually average person's success in both their personal life and career can be attributed to their level of emotional intelligence. However, I think it depends on the situation. You know, someone like you actually believe that happiness it could be related to logic, and if we can solve some problems in our life, we could be happy. However, in my opinion, we can be happy actually without solving any problems. We could be actually happy.
Is it possible? It's impossible. If you cannot solve any
Yes.
problem, you cannot be happy. Believe it or not, take it from me. It's so evident to me that you need to be a problem solver these days. Because, for example, there are a lot of obstacles, uh, let's say, in front of you, and if you are not intelligent, you cannot just even provide yourself with basic needs, that is food, shelter,
Hmm.
home, and so on and so forth. They are really important, and actually if you do not have them, you cannot be happy. You cannot be a poor person and at the same time a happy one. It's
Okay,
impossible.
so based on research, I can prove it to you
Okay.
that most of people with a low level of IQ are actually succeed.
Can you
Is it
mention
right?
any example?
Any
Who?
example?
This is
Um,
this is
yeah,
so
yeah,
general to
actually,
say that okay, a lot of people are successful and happy,
yes.
but they are, yes.
Actually, I'm speaking from some research. I didn't do any specific research on any specific person in my life
Well,
because
actually, when
I,
you use some information on the internet, it's important to acknowledge the receipt or the source, because
yeah,
on the internet I can write something and publish it, but it's not that reliable. You
yeah,
need to
actually,
just. Mm-hmm.
I used a famous website.
Uh-huh.
There are many articles
What
about
is that
many
website?
issues. Quora.com, Quora.com.
Well, I don't know what. Uh, Quora.com, and it has been mentioned that actually some people have been lowbrows and, let's say, lowbrow and low in intelligence, and they have been really successful and happy.
Yes, they are really successful in their career. And maybe they are not a famous person. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they actually they are not famous persons.
Mm-hmm.
However, they can manage
Mm-hmm.
their lives, and they can reach some small goals. And I think it could be happiness if you can
Mm-hmm.
reach some of your goals, if you can
Can
enjoy.
you can you
Yeah,
reach your goals just depending on your emotion?
no, we cannot. However, we can actually. It is possible that personally, I have, for example, I
Mm-hmm.
have low level of IQ,
Mm-hmm.
and I can be successful in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean that if someone actually doesn't have a high level of IQ, cannot be successful?
Well, actually, it doesn't mean that. For example, if the color is not white, then it is black. There are some other colors between black and white. Okay, it's
All
not
right.
the opposite degree. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say that, uh, if a person uh, is of high level of IQ, that person can be happy. I don't mean that. Actually, the other way is completely the opposite, let's say, scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that if you are not, you need to have a high level of IQ, and it doesn't mean that, for example, even if you don't have a high level of IQ, it will not happen to you at all in future. Recent studies has have shown that you can improve your, or you can elevate the level of your IQ, and it's not something fixed. Unlike
Right.
previous studies, actually, I studied psychology today, which is a very great website and inspirational. Uh, for example, if you are not satisfied with the level of your IQ, you can improve it by solving some math problems, for example, by
Mm-hmm.
learning a second or language. This is helpful in order to elevate the level of your IQ,
Right.
and also having feeding on nutritious materials, taking care of your nutrition, and socialization, and doing physical exercises, having enough sleep. These are important elements in order to elevate the level of your IQ. But so if even if you are not satisfied with that, you can improve it. Even if
Okay.
you are not actually young, even adults or middle-aged people can improve the level of their IQ.
Yeah.
And but I believe the only thing I know is that I do believe that there is a very close relationship between the level of happiness and
Mm-hmm.
also the efficiency in problem solving, because these the third millennium or 21st century is full of complexities, and we need
Right.
to be prepared. And emotion does not necessarily give us freedom or a key to just let's say unlocking the doors of prosperity.
Right.
No, this is my idea.
Yeah,
Mm.
you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
And could you actually think about a person
Mm-hmm.
that actually has a low level of IQ,
Mm-hmm.
and he or she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have any problems, any difficult problems in
Mm-hmm.
his or her life, and he or she can be actually can be happy.
Well, it depends. That
Hmm.
situation is is subject to a lot of variations. If that person is dependent or independent, if that person actually lives in a family that is rich enough or not, if the person actually can take care of himself, or not. It
Hmm.
really depends on many factors. It is multifaceted. Uh, but supposedly, let's say, in the most natural situation, the person should be able to take care of himself without any external help. You know,
Hmm. Right.
without any
Yeah.
external help. But if the person actually is intelligent enough, I
Hmm.
said intelligent enough, even if the situation is not really promising, and there are a lot of ups and downs to the road of success, it's not something smooth. The person will be able to find a way. Even if there is no way, the person can just create a way. And that, emotionality is not the only, let's say, solution to the problem. The person must be logical and also resourceful and intelligent to create a way.
Yeah, this is
My
not the only way. However, both of them should be
Mhm.
considered.
Definitely, yes. I do
Yeah.
not reject emotion. I do not reject emotion. For example, can help you to, for example, uh, consider your past, to learn from your past. Because emotion and memory are related to each other. For example, if you have some failure, and you can learn from your failures in order to make
Yeah.
your future brighter. And from
Hmm.
that point of view, emotion actually is really serving us.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only actually um the only reason that I was disagree
Mm-hmm.
with this statement was the essential word in this statement.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, a high level of IQ is actually help to have happiness,
Mm-hmm.
or is helping to be happy,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not essential.
Uh-huh. And the person, in my idea, should be logical and shrewd enough to know themselves, and to know the problems, and to find or seek a solution to the problem.
Yeah.